reminder that these meetings,
Go on. See?
so whatever you say will be heard for all eternity. I'm super excited that there's a whole bunch of people here. It's nice to see you all this evening. It's gorgeous outside, and it's nice that everybody took time to come and join us this evening. And I know we have a couple of items on the agenda that you're all probably interested in. So I look forward to some good, robust conversations as we go through the evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I think with one exception, we have all of the board members here. Having done that, I'm hoping that everybody had the opportunity. Oh, one thing before we get started, Sandy, you're the only one online tonight. Make sure you mute your microphone. We had problems with online feedback last time, so from other people, but just perfect. Thank you. We'll catch you if you raise your hand. We'll catch you, Sandy. I promise. Ken will tell me.
She's like, sure.
Sandy's like, I've been muted. I'm hoping everybody had an opportunity to read the board minutes from last month's meeting. Kim, thank you very much for all your effort on that. Any amendments to the council meeting minutes from February? Looking to Sandy, looking up and down the line, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. I got thumbs up from Sandy. Thank you. The meeting minutes are approved. The tonight's council agenda, any amendments to tonight's agenda? Kind of went out of order there. Any amendments to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, all approved. Mary.
I was just wondering if you wanted, I didn't look at it carefully. If you wanted to talk about Facebook at all, I just want to leave that.
So
Okay. So we will add the discussion about Facebook under council comments under item 10. So all with the amendment, all in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
Sandy, thumbs up. Thank you. Opposed? Sandy was kind enough to send us out the treasurer's reports. Any comments on the treasurer's report? We got a reimbursement from the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council for our November Green Waste Day, so it looks much healthier right at the moment than it did last month. Any comments on the treasury report? Any questions for Sandy? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Sandy, for all your work on that. All right, chair and vice chair reports. I want to welcome Tom Turner as our newest council member. He's sitting at the big kids table tonight. So thank you for stepping up, and appreciate it. And I forced him up here. Trust me, he didn't want to come up and sit up here. He said we were scary.
good observation.
So there's a lot going on, and we'll have a lot to talk about tonight. We've got some exciting meetings coming up in our next couple of meetings that I'm really excited about sharing with you. There's a lot, some super neat things going on within the county. The Office of Wildfire Preparedness and Resilience within the county, an office within the county, is doing a number of things that hopefully will have a positive impact on all of us here. The first is that it is in the process of submitting an application for the unincorporated areas of the county, of which we are one, to become a fire risk reduction community, which is a designation by the State Board of Forestry and Fire Protection. To be one of those, you have to meet a number of criteria, which the county is going through and making sure that it meets all the criteria, such as submitting all of its plan. Tentative and parcel maps have to meet certain criteria and have to be signed off by the fire districts. We have to have a local hazard mitigation plan. We have to have a safety element to the general plan that discusses wildfire. if we meet all of that criteria to the satisfaction of the State Board of Forestry and Fire protection, then we will, and they approve us. It is one item that insurers may consider for insurance discounts. Not that they will, but they can. So the county has taken it super seriously and has worked really hard. Planning and building has worked really hard to get caught up with the requirements that were upon them. Fire districts have been really responsive in meeting the needs that we have of them. So stay tuned. We won't know until June or July whether we're successful with that. But that is something that the county is working on to the benefit of all residents. There are a couple of grants that the county is working on, which it appears that it will be successful in getting. One of which will provide a significant amount of funding for defensible space throughout the county. It's a grant through BLM. It's a $10 million grant, and it will provide funding to the fire safe councils and local fire districts to do a lot of defensible space work. So watch for that. So there's some pretty exciting things that will help residents throughout the county be more fire safe and fire aware. The county's also working with its partners, CAL FIRE, the Forest Service, fire chiefs, fire prevention officers on the fair. That group gets together and puts together a presentation at the fair where folks can go and meet with each of those organizations and see the efforts that they're doing and the efforts that you can do to be fire safe, fire aware. So that's another opportunity that's coming up with information that will be out for fire prevention, fire protection, defensible space requirements that you can gather information at. So if you are at the fair, please stop by the booths. There's a lot of people who work really hard to put that material together.
That's June, Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day weekend in June. I think that's all I have to start with, and I can catch up with anything this later. Mike?
The only thing I would say until I get to the Suffolk County grant is, my tardy sealing here was, the ink is still drying on this as she handed over her time sheets today.
Yeah.
It's been a little slow coming in this year so far, but if you've done work on your property, we can get credit for it in our fire safety wise thing, which we did get last year. Janet almost single-handedly did, quite a bit of it on her property. I did about $9,000 worth of tree remediation on my property this year so far, but these are few and far between. So they're at the post office in Mount Alpha in a little, please take me
Outside of the post office.
we have some on our website. They're pretty simple PDF, just print it,
And we have some back there if you want.
put your scroll on it, and I do the totaling near the end of the year and submit it to the county.
If you got your on your agenda by email for this meeting tonight, it was attached to the agenda as well. We are a FireWise community, and which is another opportunity to get an insurance discount. And one of the requirements for being a FireWise community is that each homeowner has to do at least an hour's worth of work on their property over the course of the year. And we have to be able to document it. And it's an hour for each. It's an hour.
1,074.
Yeah. So it's 1,000 hours because we have.
Okay.
And so I'll come back to you. So we have to get that information from our residents to actually document and demonstrate to FireWise USA that we have done the work. So some of us do more. We don't hear from a lot of our community members. So it's very important to us that we get timesheets for any time you're doing work on your property for your defensible space or fuel reduction on your property. Also, the time you spend at this meeting, you can put on that. And that's because we do public outreach as part of this. So it's important to us, and we hope it's important to you. it's another opportunity that we can address some of the insurance questions that we have and take credit for what we're all doing. Question.
You sent me the Fires Wise certificate and I submitted it to my insurance and got a $5,000 reduction.
Wow.
Sure.
Your insurance was.
Wow.
That's
You're
fair.
been good looking.
Double.
Good.
And then I go, this is ridiculous, like, come on, I've got this and this and this and this, and I did the check sheet thing, and then I submitted this and got. I haven't, I got a bill, I didn't get the bill from them, I got a summary of it, and it said $5,000 or less.
Good for you.
We like your insurance committee.
Big,
That's-
for those sheets to hand them in and to stay within the Firewise
Designation.
so you can keep it going, but I keep trying to tell neighbors and people like, you gotta do this, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can admit it.
Well, and as Mike said, we got by last year because he and I had a project I live in the Sandfire, or I don't live there, I have property in the Sandfire footprint, so I had work come in to knock down all the dead stuff and remove it. So that was a significant amount that went towards our Firewise requirement, and we're not gonna have that this year, so
Yeah.
we're pushing our community members.
Yeah, we
to-
really need to do
to
it.
participate and get timesheets in so that we can keep our designation for that reason.
Yeah,
So super excited. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm an insurance agent from Promise. I'm gonna use that in my business.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody getting
Yeah,
$5,000.
about 3 years ago, and they said, well, why didn't you tell me? I said, I was clueless, I just moved here, I didn't know what you needed, what I need, well, I didn't know how this all worked, so I'm just kind of gathering information now.
So we'll have the video camera's on. You were warned earlier. CBS will be showing up tomorrow.
Well, we're very excited for you.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
I have
question.
a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For this Firewise,
Calendar.
cycle,
Uh-huh.
when do you need all of that information?
So-
Because I do know people that are in your area that I might be able to talk to help them get that information to you.
So January 1 through probably no later than October 15th, because
Yeah, we have to actually have all of the documentation submitted to Firewise USA no later than November 15th.
Okay,
So we try to back that up a little bit because Mike collects the time sheets, we've got to
Okay.
total them and make sure we've got.
but there's still time.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Lots of people
Yes.
already in your council, so.
We're good through 24.
Yeah.
So the work that we're doing is for the 25,
Yeah.
25,
Okay,
And they can backdate any work, so you could take, if they know they did work in February, they can certainly fill out a time sheet.
Yeah.
and if you send it to info@affsc.org, that's the email address for the council. We'll get it to Mike.
okay,
info@affsc.com.
Or,
.org.
.org, okay,
Yeah.
great.
and then if you want to if you drop it off here in anytime, so. Super
I have a
excited.
special folder for you.
All right, informational items. Deputy Sheriff Cruz Markey is not here this evening. He let me know that he was expecting to be a new dad. Haven't heard, but I'm assuming that he is a new dad and that is why he's not here. So excited for Deputy Sheriff Markey. Look forward to pictures when he comes back, right? All right, Ken, El Dorado County Fire Safe Council.
Yeah, and for folks that may not be familiar, so there are 31 associate fire safe councils like ours here. They sort of all roll up under the umbrella of the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council, which is our nonprofit 501c3 sort of umbrella for all of us. So all of any grant work that we do, all fundraising, it all rolls up under the County Fire Safe Council umbrella. So that County Fire Safe Council meets every month on the Wednesday morning prior to this meeting. So we met today, and there's a lot going on, of course, across the western slope of the county as well. The County Fire Safe Council has been very involved in supporting the 3 assistance programs that are available to all of us, and that's for defensible space, clearance for seniors, low income, and veteran members of the community. It provides a chipping program for any of us on the western slope to chip up material that you have generated from doing your defensible space. And then there's also a hazard tree removal program for a good portion of the western slope here for those more technical trees that are larger, that are up near homes that need to be removed. So those are sort of the flagship 3 programs that the County Fire Safe Council is administering. We're constantly trying to look at grant funding to keep those programs alive and well. Particularly the defensible space program has really accelerated in the last 2 years. A lot of interest in its use. It started out as about a $4,000 to $8,000 a year program, and now it's up over to $300,000 to $400,000. At least we're approaching that. Challenge is that we blow through the grant money fairly quickly. We get grants from a variety of different places, PG&E, SMUD, very small grants come from Veterans Association, Women's Association, but we have a $500,000 grant from the State Fire Safe Council, and we've also applied to CAL FIRE for much larger grant to fund that program. So we're in flux in all of those, waiting for those to be approved and come in. And so, for example, the defensible space program it's on pause right now while we await additional funding. So we've got about 60 applications pending from residents, and we just can't do those jobs yet until we get the funding. But that will happen here shortly. So that's a lot of the work is processing and getting grants and bringing those things in. Of course, the council is also the umbrella, and Mike will talk about it later. The South County grant project. There's other projects going on in the north and central part of the county. So we're just really the umbrella to help. So we're the banker and the administrator for fiscally sponsoring all of those projects. So a lot of that's happening. Really tying into what Janet talked about when she mentioned that what the county is working on. There's a lot of plans right now that are all happening at the same time. The county's required to have a safety element to the general plan, as Janet said. And this year there's a huge component to update the safety element, and a big piece of that is wildfire and what mitigation efforts are going on around the county. Part and parcel to that, there's also the county's required to have a multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan, and that's the responsibility of the sheriff OES section of the county. And that's an important document because that allows the county to be eligible for federal funding from FEMA, both during disasters and post-disaster. And so having that plan updated is important going forward. Well, these plans are all happening at the same time. CAL FIRE is also updating its unit fire plan, that's the plan they use every year to determine where are the priority areas to put fuel breaks in strategically around the county. So where are they going to be looking at obviously they're the ones that are going to bring the resources with our fire districts to deploy during fire, and where will they be needing those fuel breaks and how will they use that? So they put that in their plan every year. Well, that's a critical piece to inform all of these planning pieces. What's kicking off now, though, and then most important to all of us, is the Community Wildfire Protection Plan update. The county has taken on this year the update to that plan. Hopefully should be approved through the Board of Supervisors on April 2nd. And then once that's approved, the contract with the vendor is approved, we're going to be off and running with the contractor to start public workshops, data gathering, and start the 12-month long process of updating the current Community Wildfire Protection Plan that we currently have on file. This plan is going to really be taking things to the next level. It'll be much more of a very much online data sharing kind of a plan where any of us can go online and look at maps and see in real time where projects are being completed and where they're proposed and currently in process. So it'll be a much more dynamic document and much more user-friendly for, I think, all of us at the community level to see where projects are, and then they can be updated, of course, over time. And so that we are going to be a big piece of that. The County Fire Safe Council is really going to be, it has a seat at the table in the steering committee in this wildfire protection plan update, along with CAL FIRE and the Forest Service and the county and RCD fire chiefs. So we will then sort of be really engaging all of the 31 associate fire safe councils, because this is our one opportunity to get our projects and our concerns, our interests, into this broader planning document. And it really is a grassroots effort. So as we're talking about what interests we have in our part of the county and things that are important, we're going to need to bring those forward through this planning process over the next 12 months. And so we'll be bringing a lot back to this group. Janet will be, others, I will be. So there'll be lots of opportunity, but just put that on your radar. That's a big piece of what we'll be working on. The county council is also kind of looking at strategic planning. Just a few years ago, we probably only had about 10 or 12 associate fire safe councils. And since the Caldor, or actually going back to the campfire in Paradise, really was sort of that final fire that just pushed all of us over the edge to realize people need to be engaging and what do we need to do. And so our number of fire safe councils has just accelerated for obvious reasons. So with that, it's created a significant, obviously, workload on the county fire safe council, and it's trying to support that. Agencies like CAL FIRE and Department of Transportation and these other organizations, they can't go to 31 meetings a month. So they're really looking at the county fire safe councils to help be that support and be the conduit for information. And so we spent a lot of time trying to do that. We're going to be doing some visioning over the next several months to figure out where do we go from here, because we're currently processing $14 million in grants. It's a huge administrative workload. We have these burgeoning programs to assist our communities. So what does the structure of this organization look like going forward so it can continue to support the associate councils? So again, we'll be talking about a lot of that going forward. Many people in this room have been part of it, but the council has also been working with the partners at CAL FIRE and the fire chiefs to work on defensible space evaluator training. Again, it was sort of a flagship program that we did here in El Dorado County last year. We have over 70 evaluators trained now that are fire safe council members. Again, several of them here in this room. And providing there's one Fred, Tom, that for us. So again, any resident in the county can contact any one of these folks at these fire safe councils and ask for an assessment of their home and their property for defensible space requirements and guidelines, and for home hardening, that ignition resistant construction. And it's a great opportunity to interact with the community, but also provide folks what they need to help make their properties more fire safe. And it's done in direct coordination with the fire agencies and CAL FIRE, because they are also out right now doing defensible space inspections under the state law and the county ordinance. And so it's all the same criteria, all the same information. We just have an opportunity as community members and volunteers to help our community with what they need so they can comply, and most importantly, to make sure their home is fire safe. So we're doing some more of that training at the County Fire Safe Council level in April. Later in April, the class is pretty much full, but we're looking at over 30 people that will be trained again this year.
Is that you're starting a new class, or?
Yeah, there'll be another 2-day class. I believe it's like April 16th and 17th. And like I said, filled up pretty quickly. And we're trying to do just one a year now, because these are a lot of folks to manage. And as Mike and Tom folks know, there's a bit of work involved, and there's an online field map process for actually collecting the information when we do the assessment. So there's a lot of training and hands-on work that has to be done, but it's a phenomenal program, and the work that's being done is rolling right up into the state system. So the information, the things we're seeing, we're sharing it so that we have a statewide picture of what things look like, not names and property owners' names, but where inspections are occurring, what are some of the things that we're seeing most common that folks haven't been able to accomplish. And it really provides an opportunity to get a picture of where we need to help folks with work. So we've been at the ground floor as fire safe councils and as community members and helping get that done. So that's a big piece of what's happening. And then it's just the public outreach pieces. This coming weekend, the Placerville Fire Safe Council on Saturday is sponsoring their third annual, I believe, fire safe workshop. So from 9 to 3 in downtown Placerville on Main Street, they will be hosting this fire safe fair and workshop. So again, encouraging lots of folks to apply. Mary.
Yeah. They have one of those simulation things, so you can see what would happen if there was fire in a certain area.
Yes, for the folks that were here a week or last week when the county came out to work with Outingdale, they have the inspections that are occurring there right now. the El Dorado Hills Fire, as part of this process, brought their simulation table. And this is what Mary's referring to. It's an actual computer simulation. It uses a real, it's actually almond chips, but it's basically a sand table, and they project down a map onto the sand, and actually will project fire simulations and based on different scenarios, and they'll pick an actual area. So in this case, just last week, it was Outingdale, and they were actually able to model the topography at Outingdale and show different fire spread scenarios. And so that's what they're doing at Placerville, and it's available for folks to see, this weekend. So yeah, a lot. So there's just we could go on a lot, but there's just a lot of activity. Like Janet said, there's the county fair coming up in June, which is an interagency display that we're all part of. It's just really taking things to the top level in terms of how things are being coordinated, interagency and organization wise here in the county. So pretty exciting thing. So anyway, that was a whole lot. Janet.
Very good.
The evacuation, the two evacuation
Dodson.
simulations that are going on.
Something to study the transportation
Yeah.
study. Oh, so yeah.
Dodson.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So again, a lot of things happening this year, and sort of bringing the county up in a number of notches in preparedness. And so one of the and you're going to hear this, folks that haven't heard it before will just hear it every day, is making sure you sign up for RAVE, and that's the evacuation notification system that the county utilizes. And it was code red prior to that, but the county is working with RAVE, which is becoming a statewide system and well supported. And so again, obviously encouraging everyone to utilize RAVE. Well, now a companion to that is the county has adopted what's called Perimeter. And Perimeter software is it's actually broken the county up into sort of planning zones. And the zones are really not that relevant to the process, other than they help organize the landscape. But what's most important about Perimeter is that any one of us, and it's out right now, and I encourage everybody to download it on their phone, it is a real-time evacuation and emergency notification system, to where if there's a fire or an emergency, the on-scene incident personnel will be entering that information into Perimeter. It will go to the sheriff's OES management, who will validate it, and then it gets pushed out into this Perimeter system. So anybody having Perimeter app on their phone will be able to see the information that they're pushing out. And why that's important is that you can see on your phone where your dot is, your blue dot, and then you can see where evacuation zones are and all of that, or you can see where you are in relationship to where evacuations are happening or where they're advised. So it's a huge step forward for the county to have this more online, and it's a much more real-time process for the first responders to input the information and get it out. And it's live now, and we've been handing out, there's a number of flyers. I've been trying to get things out through the email network. But if you see that, look for it, download it. You will see that in use going forward. Testing that on May 18th, the Sheriff's OES, in partnership with Logtown Fire Safe Council, will be conducting an evacuation exercise in the Crystal Boulevard area there, Highway 49, in that area of Logtown Market. They've contacted all of the residents in the evacuation area ahead of time. All of them are participating in this actual evacuation. So this will be an emergency, and the sheriff's deputies will be going door to door, evacuating, making notifications. Everyone will be evacuated to Union Mine High School. And once folks are in place at Union Mine High School, then it will become actually a town hall meeting where there will be presentations from the sheriff's office, CAL FIRE, the county, probably the County Fire Safe Council. And this is another preseason. So now we've got everybody captive. Will be a preseason opportunity to talk about preparedness and all of that, evacuation information. And it's not just open to the people being evacuated from Crystal Boulevard. It's after the town hall meeting is open to everyone in the county that has the ability and interest in going there. So that's happening on May 18th. We will make sure it's been going out, but we will make sure we keep pushing that out through every possible opportunity.
It is an in-person meeting though. as I recall. There's-
Yes, yeah, it's not a Zoom,
Hybrid
it's,
option,
yeah,
yeah.
it needs to, you need to physically go in person to experience the evacuation. So, was I disabled?
No.
Mary, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Perimeter, when I go to my app store, what's the time? Because there's a whole bunch of.
Yeah,
We will get that back to
let me
you.
look at, because I think there's a QR code that you downloaded from, and that's the only way I saw it, but let me look at it. We'll get it out, because I think I've exceeded my expertise on it. All right.
Jumping ahead, don't look ahead in the agenda, but there might be a presentation on perimeter in May. So
Question,
don't jump ahead in my agenda though. Yeah.
is there somebody for the county fair in June of this coordinating, the county?
Yes, Alice Cantelo is coordinating the,
Because I'd like to be there.
yeah, oh, we would love, they would love that, yes. Alice Cantelo is.
The fire service people, the people in the all green suits, they have the best swag and the best water.
Forest Service.
Forest Service.
So, for, folks at the table here, and any of you, we take volunteers to go, staff the booth at the fires, at the, fair. John goes and is very kind and makes signs for us. If you don't have a green address sign, John is your person. To get a reflective, address sign for your property, it's super important that you have that so that we can find you in times where visibility is reduced. So John makes those here and you can acquire one of those from him. But so folks at the table, if you have the opportunity or are willing, Alice will be reaching out to us to have volunteers come and help staff the booth over there. See this one can. It's that's why. So she's getting small accounts.
Yeah, it's very well organized. They have transportation from the public library up on 40, on Fosterville Drive, and plenty of food and water. It's very, very interesting.
All right, moving on to Omo Ranch. Shyla, you're way in the back.
Okay, so we have some exciting news. Our water tank project, that was funded by the fire department, PDFA, West Slope Foundation. We filled up the 4 tanks. So they were 4 5,000 gallon tanks on Slope Coach. And it took every penny of our grant, and that was absolutely perfect timing. And this is the second 4 tank projects we've done. So it's absolutely wonderful. So the water's in it. So it's not
So let's hope you don't use it.
Doesn't leak.
the other thing is that May 4th, Omo Ranch is having their Greenway Day. And so we're in the process of setting that up. And that's always a time where our community comes together. And so we actually look forward to it reignites in spring and it reignites. My regret is that we didn't do it right after burn season, when they say, no more burning. And that's when people, because up in Loma, it's called burn. I did. So I'm going to end there.
Thank you, Shyla. All right, Sandridge, Denise? No, Denise? All right. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm a close neighbor. I live over here, just the other side of the greatest corners. I've got 10 acres. I've been trying to keep it safe. Obviously, a lot of slope land. I've had crews in there because my age is 75. I can't ride brush up stuff. When you had your 2-day thing here with the chipper, I got 4 loads in one day. I have a guy doing it. So my questions don't want to hug all the time, but I have multiple questions. One is, what's the assistance? If I pay somebody to knock it down, how much assistance can I get to drag it up, putting it on the trailer? 2, will there be chippers around? Not just one day, around so I can get a significant amount of brush hog. 3, is there any assistance in surveying unsurveyed boundaries like between me and BLM, so I can get some fencing on? I'm not gonna ask people for assistance putting in fence posts, that's my own deal, but and 4, is there any assistance for cutting on private property? Because so far I've been paying for this myself, me and my wife are on social, and we got a 401k that's almost disappeared, and we've got 1 tenant. And so this doesn't stretch very far when we get to, it's a long string of 10 acres. I've got to do extensive clearing on 2/3 of it, that's 6 acres of clearing. And I've got a lot of a cut down and lay down, we couldn't drag out last year because 2 days, we dragged what we could. I've got maybe 30 loads on my trailer to get up, but to where? I put it on the trailer, if I could drag it over there, there's a chipper. So we're talking about all these programs and resources. When I come here to find out what's underground now, what will be days, where are the chippers, what assistance can we get?
Okay, so we have lots of answers for you.
But it only goes to 2 or 3, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you have a lot of material. If there's a number of programs that the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council has to assist seniors, low income, disabled veteran residents of the county. There's a defensible space program. So if we're talking the 100 feet around your home, you can apply for the defensible space program, and the Fire Safe Council will assign a contractor to come out and do an evaluation of your property. And the evaluation, where whatever the evaluator deems needs to be taken care of, then a contractor will come out and do that work.
Okay.
Perfect.
Just the area within the 100.
Just the 100 feet.
And it's.
I've got most of that, but I'm going back to the elements. The other part, the last question, I'll get it in the book, and I'll shut up. But I did border on 480 acres of BLM, which up until Caldor, we were forbidden on pain of being arrested from going on clearing. And of course, the guys on Hill Road saved everybody's butt. And here by going between what Red Fox cleared and what Bobby D'Agostini cleared, and everybody knows that. So are we still forbidden on going on BLM, and taking a chainsaw out of this stuff?
So there's some, they're kind of reaching this really quick, because there's a lot of, we don't
Yeah,
want to
there's a
take
lot
up
of
the whole
stuff.
night. We can certainly talk to you offline, to probably get you some more answers, but in a nutshell, we're working with BLM. There's some opportunities to allow homeowners to work with BLM now to get clearance, defensible space amount of clearance, not acres of clearance on BLM. So we're working to try to determine how that's going to work. Right now, you can't just go do it, but we have some opportunities to connect with BLM and get that done. So we can certainly chat with you. In addition to the defensible space program Janet talked about, there's a chipping program that's available to anybody, not just low income or seniors. But you have to haul the material, to the roadside or to where it's accessible. But then they will bring the chipper and ship it all up for you for free. But we don't have any programs that haul the material or cut the material outside of that defensible space. So no,
So they got 100 feet. Outside of that, I gotta pay for it.
you got to do it right.
Yeah.
We have a chipping
But if you
program.
bring it
that
up to the street,
but
then we can chip it.
yes, you get it
Or
to the
to a
street,
road.
or to a road, the chipping program, again, you apply, they will come and chip that for you. You can do that twice a year. So we have those programs.
There's no limitation on how much material I can put
I
up.
think it's basically what they can do within 6 hours.
6 hours worth of
Yeah.
it.
They can do a lot.
They can do a
They
lot in
do a
6
lot.
Depends
hours.
on how big their chipper is.
They have big chippers. These are
the
with all of the
professional contractors.
commercial tree companies in the county are all part of this. So we can talk offline. The Fire Safe Council website, El Dorado County Fire Safe Council.org, has the applications are on the front page. So we can get you steered towards that.
And there's a book that we can hand you that has.
Yeah. It's actually my prop for this. But yes, and we have lots of these. So tonight, I don't on the table, but we'll give you lots of these tonight.
And then you just heard Omer Ranch is having a Greenways Day. And later we were going to discuss that Alcon Fair Play is also having Greenways Day on June 1st. So
But you have to have a truck.
you have to have a truck to get
Right.
here.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it didn't, that's history for me. I don't have to call it the 2 blocks. I wouldn't mind if the chippers just sat here for a number of weeks.
Yeah.
I'd get some guys and.
As an insurance guy, the liability.
Yeah.
Shyla,
Comment, and that is, the fire safe council is never gonna rent a bunch of trucks to come to your house and pick up your stuff. Number one. Number two, there is called creative problem solving, and this is how you get to know your neighbors. Is you sit back and say, you know what, I think we need a barter right now. Because money is not something that everyone has, but they do have the ability to help each other. This is where, what the fire safe councils are doing is providing the shoe of your tree. You have to bring it to the table. You have to work together and carry the load to that area. But that's, the fact that they do that is amazing, simply amazing. Y'all need to see to figure out who's got a couple wheels to put this stuff on. Who's got a wagon?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I didn't know apropos to what's on the meeting here, but yeah, I have a 955 cat sitting on the property.
There you go.
I've got 8 trailers, you know, but. On the other hand, the cat, you know, is probably, you know, it can't go on the road, it has to have a factory to move it from X to Y, somebody wants to do so. Bring it back in the same shape, I got no problems, but they gotta get it there, and that's the same, that requires a tractor, that can pull a 30,000 pound cat, and a trailer that can do it, and somebody to pay for that, doing that, you know, there's all those little details. You know, that's why, I like this idea, if we could just dump it on the side of the road, the same sharing.
yeah, it has to be, it
Because
has
of
to
the
be,
steepness of mine, and I'm sure many people's properties, is dragging the stuff uphill.
it has to be in condition that the vendors can come and ship it. It can't just be a big pile of intermixed stuff either. It has to be laid so that they can pick it up and put it into the chipper and that it will chip. So,
Yeah, butt ends out.
Yeah.
But the cut ends out. All the instructions are
Yeah, it's all
on.
in
Yeah.
there. It's all-
yeah, it's all in there and on our website. Question? Did you have a question? Okay. Yes, in the back.
I don't mean to be uncouth, but I was just curious, my neighbor's property comes right up to the railing of my deck. And it's a slope, it's covered in brush, and I mitigated my property, but about 6 years ago. And I, was just curious, I flew one of these meetings, like the very first one. I wasn't sure what you guys were looking for it, but I wanted to ask a question about the brush there. Is that the responsibility of the homeowner that owns the property when the brush is on? Or-
So there is in the county defensible space ordinance, there is a good neighbor policy where you can work with your neighbor to go on their property and take care of the 100 feet around your home, but you need to work with them to do that. If you have any questions about that, I would call the Office of Wildfire Preparedness and Resilience. We have a defensible space person who can talk to you and walk you through that.
So that's, okay, so let's assume the worst case scenario, they don't wanna work with you.
Right.
If the fire comes through there and burns into my house through their property, you take over it becomes their liability, you have no liability.
I don't, I'm not,
So like that.
no.
Just like that.
Not
So
to-
they-
No,
I-
damn.
Right. So
Yeah, no, that would be your insurance at your house.
so you just have to basically, help them out.
You work with your neighbor.
What insurance?
What I would see is if their house is within 100 feet of your border, then it's their responsibility to clean it up the first 100 feet.
Yeah,
Even if it's 50 feet, maybe it's the 50 feet near your house. That's better than nothing.
yeah.
But an insurer's not gonna, look at forest density in terms of insurance risk.
It's there's an amazing amount of brush and trees on this little strip of slope is really soft.
So I'm gonna get back to the agenda. We can wrap up with some of these other questions later during the public comment and answer any questions there. Grizzly Flat, I don't see folks from Grizzly Flat here. Kim, you attended the Pioneer Fire Protection District meeting?
There was no meeting this month because they're doing a big,
Pancake.
pancake breakfast and Easter egg hunt on the 30th. Everybody in the area is invited. It will be from 9 to noon at Pioneer Park here. And they're still in need of volunteers. PVFA general@gmail.com if you want to volunteer. And the next one,
What type of skills do they need?
volunteer skills.
Breathing?
Yeah.
It's fog and mirror. You can fog and mirror, you can come.
Um, Tuesday of every month at 6:00 p.m.
I have second Tuesdays, the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday.
So we can change this on the agenda.
So Ken,
Yes.
on the 30th, is there a potential for Fireside Council to be at that event? That's for sure.
I can ask them. I'm sure they won't mind it. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
That's it for me.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 7, unfinished business, South County grant update. And Mike, maybe describe what the South County grant is.
Okay, the South County grant is the CAL FIRE grant that myself and 4 other fire safe councils teamed up with to do. We've been writing grants for the last 4 or 5 years and individually. And the trend is to get larger and larger parcels so that more and more fire remediation can happen and can affect more homesteads, more egress and egress. So Omo Ranch teamed up with Omo Ranch, Oak Hill, Pleasant Valley, Diamond Springs, and Upton Fairplay. And we were lucky enough to September.
All fire safe councils.
Yeah, all fire safety councils to get a $2.1 million grant to do about 600 acres of shaded field breaks and roadside maintenance. I don't know how many miles it is of roadside maintenance, but it's over 100. So what they're doing now, it used to be X number of acres and then X amount of roadside maintenance, but right now we're just looking at 640 treated acres in South County in those areas. I didn't bring them, but I will share them with Mary Elliott and Jane and Janet and get it out. But they just updated. They being when the grant was offered, it's about a 4-year grant. It doesn't expire until I think spring of 2026. So we have time to actually perform the work. And you ever try to grab a wet bar of soap? And it's almost there. Nope, keeps getting away from you. We've been trying to get RCD, who's the project manager on that for us. We hired RCD, the organization that does a lot of this fire remediation in California, to manage the project for us. So they do a lot of the administration of the right of entry forms. Did anybody here get a right of entry form? Is your property included? Yeah. Nobody else? Interesting.
You should have. You didn't get one. She's on E6.
Not to put you on the spot, but did you?
She's gonna go home and check her junk mail now.
Check your spam folder. No, but RCD does a great job. They did a lot of the Galdor fire. They did a lot of the ski area up by Tahoe, South Tahoe. Did a phenomenal job. They do a lot of the work around the state. And they have, they're foresters, they've got fire safe, project managers and so forth. So the status as of today, and again, I'll send you the maps, is 7 maps that have color coding on them as to which properties are being treated, which roads are being treated. It's all color coordinated, either red or purple or dotted red lines and so forth. Now that the group RCD is out actually doing the flagging, which means, there's the border of, where we're going to put the shaded field break. I'm starting to get a lot of people that have signed the ROE saying, hey, I'm seeing a lot of blue and pink ribbons. Is it happening? Yes, it is. They've got 260 acres of properties that signed their ROEs flagged right now. The goal is to get to 300. And once they get to 300, which should happen in the next 2 weeks, they're going to finally unleash the Kraken or the RFP, which stands for Request for Proposal. So there's a pretty healthy set of contractors and vendors with shipping equipment, with skid steers, with tractors, with cats, with whatever they need to create these shaded field breaks and roadside maintenance. Again, the homeowner has the first 100 feet around their property, but we'll kind of go in and on the shaded field breaks, they're trying to get, I asked them today, what are you looking for? A 200-foot clearing, a 300-foot clearing? Some of these parcels are 40, 50, 60 acres. They'll take whatever the owner is willing to allow them to clear. But the whole point is to create a break, to create something that will give the firefighters more time to either put out the fire or, slow it down significantly and to eliminate crown firings and stuff like that. So places, there's a few places where there's spots along Slug Gulch Road, for instance, where we're really trying to get in touch with some of the property owners so that they can see the right of entries. Some of these people, pretty common up here, they don't live here, and properties turn over. I kind of became the ambassador for Outingdale because there's a huge shaded field break of 12 properties on the southwest flank, essentially what didn't burn in the Sand Fire in 2014, that protects the western flank and, in fact, all of Outingdale. And I think I was successful in getting all 12 properties, and it took a lot of digging. Some were in Florida. One woman is a Palestinian in San Francisco that knew nothing about fire remediation. She jumped at the opportunity to have this done because she's the furthest north and west. So if the fire would come down Janet's Hill, it would hit her property first. And thankfully, we're getting the county doing some evaluations in there as well. So it's a great project. We're about a couple of weeks away from, you'll see actually crews along Mount Uncombe Road, on Pleasant Valley Road, in Oak Hill and Elmore Ranch. We're going to try to put signs up there because if you go along those roads, any of those roads right now, you see any number of cars and trucks and equipment trying to do work. Mountain Enterprises, PG&E. These are projects specific to the South County grant. So when you approach the flag person, you're going to see a sign saying this is a South County grant, Cal Fire grant at work, so to speak. And actually, we're hoping that will. We got about, like I said, almost 50% penetration on the ROEs. Once the work starts, it's real easy for a neighbor to say, "Hey, did you see what they did on my property? Wow, did you see what they did at Joe and Jane's?" And kind of get that going. Even the mere fact of going out and flagging a forester in a green suit and a hat and a neon vest, walking through your property with permission, of course, gets people's attention. So it's a really, really positive thing for the South End. I think I drove Sandy around some of the roads in our CWPP, scared the bejesus out of me, and I drive a 4-wheel drive anywhere the hell I can take it. Those roads were terrible. And in the short time I was videotaping, it wasn't Sandy's driving. It was a truck. What do they call us? The Eldorado disposable truck came. It was fall, and all of the gullies were covered with leaves. We had no idea where the road was. So it's kind of like, imagine it's an engaged fire, and those roads aren't cleared 10 feet on either side and 15 feet up. So there's a lot of work that we're doing and will do, but there are still a lot more to do, especially in the South County.
So because we have so many roads that are, our primary road still has a lot of encroachment and vegetation on the side, E16, Fairplay, some of these others. The goal of this is to make sure that there is appropriate defensible space to the road clearance so that fire engines can get in and you can get out. And so it's taking vegetation back away from the road, from the center line. I think it's
50 feet.
50 feet from the center line. so that we can make sure that we can get everybody in and out safely. And then there is a finite number, I think it was 6 fuel breaks, correct?
Oh, no,
4 or
there's,
6.
there's more than that in total.
So,
Yeah.
but they're predefined. They've
Yeah.
already been defined as part of the grant.
Right.
So we're hoping to get the road work started soon, as Mike said. And I know that County DOT is also doing some work out here. And we'll have a discussion about that. So hopefully we will have the ability to feel a little bit better about, can we get out? Can we get our animals out? Can we get, fire engines in? Can they pass each other in an emergency? So that's the goal.
And one final thing, I did an insurance thing of Prairie Creek Road. And I actually did a defensive space evaluation for them at the same time. And I don't know if you've heard the term, but their yard looked like what they call a gallery. It was beautiful. They've done a fantastic job of clearing anything flammable near their home. I asked them to move one wood pile. That was the only bad mark they got. But if you looked just beyond their border, it was a mess. It's like your neighbor BLM. It was absolute mess. So thick. And it was, right, they had like an L-shaped lot. And I actually, she said, the woman I was doing the insurance for said, well, we've talked to him. He knows it's a problem, but he didn't get an ROE. Can we get him an ROE? I said, sure, get me in touch. His name is Gary Martin. He's now in the plan. So what happens with these ROEs, I didn't know this before I started, is some people sign them and then they say, you know what, I changed my mind. Well, 5–10%, human nature, right? So we can continue to make trade-offs. Again, we're only about 50% participation. The goal is to get to 80 or 90, but that'll take another year and a half. So in that meantime, if you or your neighbors think that you have a property that would qualify and it's in the grant space, what we're trying to do is more contiguous lots. So if you're adjoining one of these lots, you just didn't get anything for some reason, call me, send me an email, or submit it, and I'll run it up the food chain. Go ahead.
So is there a cutoff time? Because Oma Ranch has been very active the last couple of weeks trying to get right of entry, so we're knocking on doors. So, and we have a pile of them, they're just coming in. It was rumored that once you get a contractor, they're bidding on a job, and so suddenly it's a bait and switch. We're giving them more work to do. Is that an issue?
That's one of the reasons that's been skewed a little bit. That's one of the reasons. I mean, we've been trying to get the RCD to publish this RFP. It's been going on for 3 months now. There were some legal issues that they had to work out at Coloma Lonas with the process, and that's since been worked out. Now it's really more who's ready to do it and get the work done. And then once that RFP happens, they will do the work. Now, obviously, I think you just mentioned you have a 30,000 pound Caterpillar. That just doesn't move on a dime.
No,
Right? So if you can look, if a contractor can look at a spot in Elmo Ranch and say, those 5 lots right there, I'll bid on that every day and twice on Sunday. Or it's like a piano, right?
Right.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. That's gonna be more difficult.
So my question is,
There's no cutoff right now.
right now, whoever signed it,
There is no cutoff. I gave Julia,
There may be multiple vendors, Shyla. I mean, the RCD is managing the project, and they will hire whatever they need to get the job done. So there may be multiple vendors, and it might be it might be on spec, right? So this much for a job or what have you. So that would be the question for them.
thank you.
but it's ongoing.
Yes, sir.
There is no cutoff today that I know of.
my question was, obviously, these ROEs, as you mentioned, my worst neighbor is BLM. Any chance of getting an ROE to clear about 200 feet of that? Because the problem is it's so dense, and the space needed is a function.
This is a CAL FIRE grant. It's a state grant, and so they can't clear federal property.
Oh, but see, I have this problem. It lives next door to me.
I understand that.
It's just what caused the big leg going down all that BLM, going down the Consumers Valley, which almost ate all of us, including Howardville here, if it hadn't been for the other
I
people I just mentioned. So,
I understand that, but this is, this particular grant is a state
so how
grant.
do we get on the BLM?
You have to contact BLM.
And what, some people have done that or?
Well, and Ken mentioned that he was gonna talk to you afterwards about, how we might.
We're working to try to have better communication with BLM. They've got some operations. We can talk afterward about how to work with BLM.
I've been
All right.
thinking sometimes just to take my cat and push.
So moving on from the grant, wine sign project, Shyla and Kim.
Shyla, you go ahead. I'm just your little, I'm her puppet. She's got this one.
Okay, so I'm paying attention to. I'll let you know something about me, and that is I can only have one train of thought going in. So it's hard for me to filter things. So, crosstalk is really rough for me. So, thank you for that. So, tell you, some people are just born mossy. I don't know what to tell you.
And Shyla, if I could have you stand up, because we do have the microphones, we have people online.
Front and center, Cheryl.
No, she can stand there, but just
Oh, good.
so if you could talk over.
Oh. So we are in the process of sending out a letter to the 4 fire safe councils that participated in this fine signage fundraiser. And that included Awful Terrified, Sand Ridge, Grizzly Flat, and Oval Ranch. And so what we did in, I guess it was October, is we did a pilot. And the pilot was meant to approach a handful of wineries, ask them if we could put our signage up and a donation box, so that they knew that it was representing 4 fire safe councils. And then we left them there until January, or to the end of actually February. And so now we're at the stage where we're getting all the boxes back. We have one group that's bringing them today. So we have all the boxes back. So we have set up a meeting, and that meeting is, once this room is approved, the tentative meeting is April 3rd, 6 o'clock. And so basically what we're doing is defining what success is. Success is it's a fundraiser. So success is how much money you bring in, but it's more important. Success for us at the top is, can the 4 fire safe councils work together? And what we have come up with, individual conversations, is, boy, it's been nice to be able to create something together. And it's supposed to address the outreach and education exposure. Each council is supposed to be doing outreach and education. Well, John, you had just mentioned at the PBFA, can we have a table? At any event, we can have a table the same way you're having it at the fair, so that we can approach people and let them know the value of a fire safe council and all the different protocol that goes with that, and all the different safety factors that go with it. So we're trying to understand when people meet and what events are happening, so that we can support each other. An example, Westlaw just had a special event, and it's nice for us to be able to support Westlaw because they're teaching us. Same with El Dorado Fire Safety. Big umbrella, they are the ones that give us the grants, they're also the ones that give us the education. So we're just a conduit. And for us to understand that in South County, I hate to say this, but the way Chief Mark Matthews describes South County, he said basically, y'all are the armpit of El Dorado. With that, what was he saying? Last ones to be served. That was not a derogatory comment. It was a factual one, which is it is a small county, part of the county, and we're better off helping each other and not expecting huge things to come down. El Dorado Fire Safe Council can get the huge things in front of it, but as individuals, we need to learn how to work together. And so that's what the wine signage is. So we will come back in April with our findings.
Okay. Letting you know that that is our board meeting night. We don't hold it here, but Kim will be at our board meeting. So. April 3rd, our board meeting. Yeah, Powerston State of Maine.
What time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay.
So I don't know how long your meeting's gonna run, but just.
It's gonna run until 7.
Okay. All right, council work plan for 2024 as part of our Firewise designation. We had to provide Firewise USA a work plan of how we were going to provide education information to our community, how we were going to provide volunteer efforts to reduce fuel in our community, of which it's a 3-year plan. These meetings are part of it because we have community outreach, public outreach here. And so one of the items that would apply towards our Firewise plan is a project that John would like to bring forward to the group, which is a project at Pioneer School. So John, would you like to introduce your project?
Have you have the PDF? Is that actually in the plan?
There,
Pioneer School is, yeah.
No? Maybe did that, huh? I'm impressed.
but we were so successful the last time we left it in.
All right, hang on. Get the.
So what this potential project is just in a follow on from last meeting, for the council just to consider whether there's potential for one or several projects at Pioneer School District. And so last meeting showed some slides of vegetation that have been thinned, at least by Growlersburg, very effectively left in piles in first place. But this is an area, next slide. If you look at the arrow there, you see Pioneer School up right where the arrow is, and then Mountain Creek is down below. And there's this vegetated area in the creek right between the two schools. And that's the area we're currently talking about this presentation. Growlersburg thinned a lot of the vegetation, brush in that area along the ravine, but they can't work in the ravine. Neither can we, for environmental reasons. But the first thing in talking with Kelly at the school, learned that Growlersburg, if she's going to pursue Growlersburg coming back at spring break, cleaning up those piles, so that will help a great deal. There is more vegetation around the schools that I think is worth talking about. But the current issue, next slide. That just kind of covers, but there's an obstacle course, one that's no longer used and the school wants to get rid of because it's a liability issue. It's also something that potentially, if firefighters were doing something in that area, might have some difficulty with the cables and things that we'll see in the subsequent pictures. So they are interested in us potentially removing that obstacle course material. So this is just kind of a presentation to the council to consider, okay, is this something we might want to pursue? And here's a few pictures of the tire. Now,
That was Dr.
most of the other material is metal. Maybe a little tough to see, but you can see some cables between trees right at knee height. And these are scattered around through the trees. There's hanging cables. Go ahead. And these are just samples. There's quite a bit of this. These are cables that are hung up high. And these are just some of the connections into the trees. And of course, when you've got bolts like that into a tree, that's the last thing that a tree service company is gonna wanna see, cutting little chainsaw. And so for a project to remove those cables, these are just some suggestions to the council that, these are the things that might be required. Poison oak is an issue in the area, because, a few folks here know about from last time.
Jane and I didn't do very well in there last.
Yeah, and it's still there. Some of the higher cables are gonna require some climbing assistance. We can talk about that if the council wants to pursue this. As far as disposal of rubber tires, the school district will take care of that, with Eldorado disposal. The cables and metal, that's free recycling unless somebody really wants those cables. And so you can just kind of see the benefits to removing this material that came to mind. And so Chris Garrett was in the back. Want to wave your hand? We'll introduce him later, but Chris is maintenance over at Pioneer School District. He was kind enough to do this area, and we took a look and took these pictures of the cables. And so this is just kind of presentation of the council to consider at some point whether we want to pursue this. I was thinking on the first slide that May 4th is Wildfire Preparedness Day. This is probably a one-day event. And if we want to pursue that, that could be an interesting day to use. That's it.
Comments from council members? Questions? Couple of questions that I have is while we have insurance to do stuff, I'm not sure ladder stuff or is.
Yeah, any ladder stuff on our part, I would believe would be very short, not tall.
Not the tall
That's
stuff.
a climber.
And so
So you can't get on all fours and I can't step on your back.
You could try,
And then I'll be on your shoulder.
but you'll have to take me to the ER.
So while we could trim stuff up, I don't know that we could get up into the trees to get stuff out unless
So
somebody had a
if-
specific.
If the school or someone hired, or we got volunteers, professional
Who
climbers,
had skills, yeah,
still.
yeah, I wouldn't want just anybody doing.
Oh, right, but I was wondering if the Fire Safe Council insurance would
Yeah, I
consider that kind of work.
think if we had somebody who's skilled to do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
But yes, we could submit the
Makes sense,
insurance for
yeah.
that. And
yeah, I mean, most of the tree service companies, they have access to climbers.
So we did a project 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
I think it's 3.
where we cleaned the drainage area in the front area between the two schools. As a volunteer day, we had 10 or 12 volunteers that came in with clippers and chainsaws and such, and we had a volunteer chipping service. One of our local companies who volunteered their staff and time and chipped everything that we volunteers pulled out. So it was a good day, and then we did pizza and afterwards. And Jane and I had a bad case of poison.
And the school has kept that area in great shape.
Yeah, it still looks.
It's easier to maintain after it's all.
Yeah.
So, are you including cutting and chipping if we can get a donor to do that again on this part, or just removing the obstacle course?
Just removing the obstacle course. I'd like to see Growlersburg come in and take care of those piles, and
Right.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
Beyond that, there's still a lot of vegetation
well, that's what I was
Around the
thinking. If we
school.
have volunteers
That-
there.
that's worth, thinking about another project.
Oh,
They may want to bring Growlersburg back.
Okay.
Or we can consider.
So it's more
But right now, it's just the obstacle.
in effect, it's a cleanup day. It's a cleanup of the obstacle course day.
Right, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hate to have, public comments, and I'll apologize in advance, but I'm kind of trained of thought like the other lady, and when you bring up some issues I want to deal with. One thing is size of chipper and size of materials. You have things putting up there. You mentioned donor chippers. Obviously, a bigger chipper, which can take actual small logs and is loaded with a grapple loader, is going to be save a huge amount of weight.
Yep. We had it was a licensed tree service who brought their material and their employees in. And had the grapple and the whole bit.
Because that's it. I mean, if you have to hand load these things, what you were mentioning, being down the street becomes a small size. If it can be grapple loaded, it saves everybody's time. I got a cat, I can drag it up, but chopping it into minute.
Right.
Yeah,
So they were taking good size.
8 inches.
Any other thoughts on a volunteer day? John?
What an appropriate next step is just to follow up on the insurance.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, and I can talk to Kim, Karen at the El Dorado County.
Karen, Paul?
Yeah. I think I did the insurance form the last time. So I have a copy of what I sent before and can use that to
You
get
want me to
them.
talk with her about?
I
I mean, it's up to the council where you.
think we need to decide if we want to move forward because the
Yeah.
insurance is going to be all date dependent, so.
I move that we move forward
I'll second that.
Okay,
on this project.
all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Sandy's thumbs up.
yep.
All right. So I think if we can work with the school and coordinate for, you want to do May 4th was what you were looking for? What day is
I'd
that?
like to try.
It's a Saturday,
It's a Saturday?
Yeah.
like what time? 9 to 4.
To be determined.
Okay. All right, I will work on insurance.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take care of the insurance for you.
Okay.
Yep. That's the easy part. I know a person. Awesome. All right. So for folks who are interested, please join us at Pioneer School on May 4th and we'll have more information coming out in the future.
I'll be sending an email to you.
Is that the
Contact.
junior high school or the grade school?
It's between the two.
It's in
The
between.
two.
Huh?
It's between the two.
It's on the Mountain Creek side of the creek. But
Okay.
this is between the two.
The middle school. It's
Middle
closer to the middle. School.
Yeah.
What date was that again?
May 4th.
May 4th.
May 4th. Thank you.
And you're talking 9 o'clock, is what I heard, right?
Said TBD.
Oh, TBD, okay.
9 AM?
Time to be announced, we will put something out on time.
Will an evening meeting or a day meeting or what?
We'll put a notice out. We'll send an email out to everybody.
May 4th.
Yep.
We do have your email, right?
Yeah, make sure we have your email
I
in the
gave
back.
it to them when I was, loading for my 4 loads up to the chipper last year. I gave them all the information there.
Well,
Well,
there's a sign-in sheet. in the
for
back.
our council, for this council, to send you stuff.
Yeah, you were running the chipper that was here. We
Okay.
went through the whole thing, they got the
Okay.
name and address.
So we should have you on. Are you getting my meeting invites?
Are you getting the invite for this meeting?
Yeah, well, we got something, I think.
Okay,
I'm not sure what coming, but I knew about it, my wife calendared it. She told
Perfect.
me a couple days ago, and I calendared it.
so then you should have it. We'll be able to get you the time when we send out the note.
I'll sign, put my email
Okay.
on there just for that.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll have a council.
And question.
Sir,
For the previous project in the school, was there a plan or anything prepared on that? I mean, other than email and notices, things like that.
I think we put out a flyer, but I don't remember.
Greg did it.
I think it was grassroots.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, but no particular official plan.
No.
Looking to follow up.
No. Volunteer forms, every volunteer has to sign a waiver. And so we have the waivers there that I collected, and the insurance. Next item, just a reminder, as I mentioned earlier, we have a Greenways Day coming up Saturday, June 1st in the Roosters parking lot. We are working to get a chipper there. I have not,
Where's this?
at the Roosters parking lot,
The post office.
the post office and
Mount Auburn.
Not often
Yes.
goes there.
yes,
I used to go to the one with Somerset, so Mount Auburn post office is that Mount Auburn Road?
yeah.
Right by, it's on the left just before D'Agostini,
Okay. Okay.
but there's a
Just
post
before
office,
D'Agostini Way,
yeah, there's a post office on the left just before.
so as I'm going down Mount Auburn Road, I never even noticed.
Yeah,
No,
it's set down,
beyond, like,
it's set down below the road, that's why, and then on the corner is a bar called Roosters.
Okay. Okay.
Can't miss that, it's in that parking lot.
So, look for information coming. Usually it's 9 to 4. But more work will need to be done before we get, flyers out, and then, volunteers, reminder that from the council members, we will need volunteers there.
I'll be there.
Thank you, Kim. John,
Yeah.
thank you. John will make signs.
John makes sense.
Could be a logo.
John, any update on election?
Not a great deal. So the council has an election every year. Officially it occurs in June. Ballot is prepared in May. And we have a committee each year of individuals that are not running for an officer position in the council. We'll only talk about officer positions. Those are elected. Council positions are not elected. They're just invited. So we have 4 positions currently for June. The chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. And so fortunately, Kim and
No,
I
it's
have,
just for-
Okay, sorry.
Don't confront me in front of everybody. Beth, can you go for that?
Not leaving me.
so we're lucky to have these 2 folks still. But we are looking for a new chair and a new treasurer. So I don't have, Nakona Hargo and I are the election committee. And I don't have any current information to update. We're still looking for those positions. I understand Nakona may have some. new-
There's rumor that there may be somebody willing to step up to the treasurer position.
I'll check. with them.
Oh, good. Sandy's very excited.
So that's, I don't have anything beyond that, other than we're continuing to look for new council members to also provide, ultimately some officers.
Well, and yes, so since John has brought it up, why don't you go ahead, Kim?
Yeah, I've got a friend, Annette. She would like to join our council. She's been coming here for about 6 months now, I think. Yeah.
So, Annette, why don't
So
you
you can
stand up and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, boy. Okay. Name's Annette Greeno. I've been here in the area for about 9 years. And, a neighbor who was Ed Matwich, who was previously on the council or somehow affiliated with this organization, started mentioning it to me. I didn't know that there was a fire safe council. So eventually another neighbor came around, Kim. And so I've been coming and I didn't know anything about Fire Safe Council. But enough of the fire experiences from a few years ago, it perked my attention. So I've come a few times and I'm starting to understand some acronyms. Very bad at that, we're bad at that. Very much interested in participating as a council member. Just to see whatever I can do to support this program. I think it's quite valuable.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, you want? to
Yes.
Do that now?
Yes,
So,
please.
in the back, Chris?
Hey,
Chris
I'm
Garrett
Chris
is with
Garrett.
the school district.
I'm the senior maintenance assistant over at the Pioneer Union School District. I met with John the other day, basically talking about doing some, obstacle removal in that, in between the school area there. And so, I am also interested in potentially becoming a council member. Just the fact that I'm at the school and I could be kind of a boots on the ground thing, and
Nice.
I'm a big part of the community in that way, at least in my mind. Got kids at the school. My wife is local. She works at the Oakstone Winery, and she's also a real estate agent. And so yeah, I mean, I'm here to help if you need me.
Do you live in the council area?
I live on Slow Gulch Road, right across from Boondock Trail. I'll give it to you, more information out there. So yeah, I'm local. I like to be involved in the community. That's why I work at the school and stuff like that. So after meeting with John, he kind of asked if I'd like to, potentially become a member. So.
I think the term is legend in your own mind.
So our bylaws actually say that folks introduce themselves at one meeting and then can be voted in at the next meeting.
Okay.
The board can, of course,
Approve them.
make a motion to do something different if it so chooses. But that's usually. Obviously, we're very excited, okay? So that is up to the wishes of the board, but that is what our bylaws say, so. However, the board wishes to proceed,
The board of the council.
the council, sorry.
Oh, council.
Oh. Mary,
I move that we accept that we accept
The two.
Annette,
Annette and
Chris.
Chris on to be members of our council.
Second.
Third.
all in favor?
Aye.
Sandy, I saw Sandy's thumb up. Opposed? Hearing none, welcome aboard. Very excited because we
Need you.
we need more volunteers. We need more ideas. So it's nice to have folks that are willing to step up and join us. John, we need some signs. We need some. So excited. Awesome. That's really good news. All right. Next up is the West Slope Foundation grant. For those of you who weren't here last time, we had a discussion about an opportunity that the West Slope had provided to provide grants to the fire safe councils here in the South County area. The other Grizzly Flat and Sand Ridge, I know, and Ono Ranch each got a $5,000 grant through the West Slope Foundation. So this council had a discussion at our last meeting about putting up permanent large signs at either end of our council area. And the other item was obtaining ember resistant venting that we could provide at a nominal charge to our community to replace venting. When we had the discussion, Sand Ridge chose to do it at the nominal fee because it is more likely that people will actually use it if they have some skin in the game. So I put together a grant request to West Slope, and we have a tentative approval on our grant. So we're excited about that. I do have to fill out the appropriate form now for them before I can officially say that we have a grant, but we tentatively have a grant. And with one caveat is that when we do the signs, they would like something formalized that we have approval from the landowner for placement of the signs.
Already working.
So can I ask a quick question? Is it 1/8 or 1/16?
Whatever,
What?
The size of the
I
grading?
think it's the 1/8, I think it's 1/8.
1/8, perfect,
yeah,
perfect. That's covered.
The venting material.
yeah, the vent, so we'll have venting that we can offer at our events as well to our community to provide, some home hardening. So super excited about that. More to follow. Funding, sounds like it won't be available. One, until I fill out this paperwork, and two, details, the end of April. So at the end of April, we can acquire the materials to do these large signs that we want to put at either end of our community and buy the advertising vinyl signs to put on them, and then the venting as well. So first question, Mary.
Would we have the venting material available, for the Green Waste Day?
That is my hope. I don't know how long it takes for it to be shipped. I'm working with Sandbridge on with their vendor on how long that might take. Question in the back, gentleman with that.
It may be second week in April or not. Bigger than that, so
Perfect.
I'm working.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. This is our West Stoke person. Thank you. We're super excited. Michelle? Who don't know, Kim went over and met with our West Slope neighbors who are now have moved into a facility right next to the Mount Auburn Post Office. So
Yeah,
they're
Get around to the line.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Kim's on it.
No, anybody?
So how would they go about getting that again?
The venting.
No, the address.
So the red sign.
So we have a website is a form to fill out, or you can just talk to John. I'm sure he has
I
something.
got some forms out in the car I can bring in.
Okay.
You're welcome. Mary?
Question, Scott, are you putting out your new location on
It's
Facebook?
on the website right now.
It's on the
I
website?
think we put it out, but.
I should,
Yeah, log in, we're there.
No.
Verify it.
yeah, just make sure you share with our Facebook group.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
This venting material, you're talking about redoing a fireplace vent, with something that prevents embers, is that what you're talking about?
No, it's your.
It's like a
Major
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a roof vent. Oh,
Your
this is for egress. This is gable, vents that
There.
prevents.
On the house.
embers going in.
House.
Okay, I understand, thank you.
Yeah. Question, Charlotte?
John, the large signs, you know, could you tell me the locations specifically?
It may depend on one of the discussions about ready to happen here,
Oh, okay. I
during
didn't
the
know.
battery, but, I contacted folks on the south end down by the river, on E16. No response, so I have some work to do in that area. On the north side, along E16, what I had planned was a location right at Everdale Road. That's BLM land on Touchwood ground. In fact, the real estate specialist with BLM used to work for me. And I was with the Corps of Engineers. So we had a nice, fun discussion. So that's a tentative location, but it may depend on discussions tonight on the battery.
May I ask, did you plan on doing one, E16 in Fairplay, that intersection, the T?
Right now, we've just been talking about the two ends because
Okay.
almost everybody has to go past those lines, one or the other
Yeah.
at some time.
Great.
Perfect. So we're very excited about it, so. Watch for more information on that, and we don't have necessarily the process on how we're going to, take care of the venting, how we're gonna, the applications to get it, or how we're gonna get it, the outreach yet, but, so give us a hot minute to put that in place, but look for that over the summer. All right, New business, A is council boundary change request. So at our last meeting, how are you? We had a request, to look at our council area. There is an area. There. So I put this map together, there.
Hang on, I have to get Sharon, hang on.
So, this is a look at our fire safe councils here in the South County. So the green area is Sandridge. The lower below Sandridge is our Mount Auckham area. The brown to the right is Omo Ranch, and above that is Grizzly Flat. So you'll see there's this kind of little rectangular shape around Somerset that's in no man's land. And many of you, I'm taking it, are from this little no man's land area.
I'm gonna share it with Sandy, hang on here.
Okay. So the question, the question came at our last meeting that was, would Auckham Fair Play consider taking on this little triangle, and so there's how many homes?
Geometry about it there.
There's a hundred and, there are,
Okay,
there are 158 parcels and 122 developed, which means they have some kind of a student run.
And just, so we're here, it's not actually a triangle, right, Janet? It's just to make sure,
probably.
just to make sure we're clear, it's basically this area right across here, right? Okay.
Well, and I think you actually want to talk a little higher, correct?
We are going, we would like to go to the border of Grizzly, where Grizzly Flat comes down, which is called the Contenta.
Uh-huh.
And then it would be river to river going over the ridge
Mhm.
is what we.
In kind of a straight
When I
line.
talked to Mr. Galvin, that's what he was suggesting for us, and then down to Somerset Corners. So when, you know, it doesn't put you over the number of dwellings
Mhm.
that you can have in your fire safe council. And we are quite similar geographically to you. So I know I spent some time trying to get into the Grizzly Flat Fire Safe Council, and they did not want us, so. So I have called several neighbors in our area, and some of them have come tonight. I do have interest, and you know, we would like to be a part of a fire safe council. If you don't take us, then maybe we do a Firewise thing, just our community, but we would not be able to write grants, and you know, I think I can bring enough excitement, hopefully, to help with you, you know, as a part of this council. So that is.
So that's the proposal on the table. Wait a minute, question, hold on, question in the back.
I have another comment with Jody is, you know, I also said I would help with a council member. I also think that we've been missing you've been missing a big point about not putting signs at the Somerset Post Office. Those signs get read on that bulletin board. And I'm there almost every day. And would be willing to kind of, you know, you do the sign, I'll put it up because you live this way. I live right there. I walk to the post office. So, and you know, like I'm saying, I think and Joey's right, we have some interest.
And we did have a commitment from Peggy, she'd be on board. So I did put feelers out to both Sandridge and Grizzly Flat because the question came from the board on why they didn't take you. For Sandridge, it was more of that was a logistical border, a logical border for them. And so they felt that it was kind of beyond what a logical border for them would be. For Grizzly, it was, they thought that they were getting too big, whether it be in space or, you know, he was concerned about number of dwellings. I don't think it would have been a dwelling issue. I think it was more a land volume issue for him, to spread out. So that was for the questions that the board had when we talked about it earlier this month. So for the council, are there any questions that you would like to ask? Mary?
Yes, I'd like to know if there was a recommendation from the board.
The board did not have a recommendation. The board was looking for further information, which we reached out to Peggy and asked her questions about interest, and obviously there is interest in front of us.
Yeah.
And we were to ask the other councils why they did not, and I think we have reasonable answers on why they did not.
And just a clarifying piece, the fire safe councils are different than Firewise community, right? But to go back to the number piece, absolutely, it's a non-issue as far as Firewise. Firewise, the maximum for Firewise community is 2,500 dwellings, and we are at 1074. Our Firewise boundary matches the fire safe council boundary, so we have 1,074 residences in our boundary.
My question would be, would we have to do more
Yes.
to get Firewise?
So at this point, no, because our Firewise wouldn't change until we do our next assessment. The recommendation I think that the board did have us with that we would do the Firewise boundary change would occur with the next assessment, which is due next year. So they would become part of our fire safe council, but not our Firewise until
24 is already burned in.
Until 25.
Right, so it would be then
So to speak,
starting
yeah.
January.
That's what it starts.
26.
Yeah, and when I talked to Richard about that, he kind of said, you know, it would take us basically the same amount of time if we were to start our own Firewise, our own Firewise
Right.
community. And so it's not gonna matter that much to us whether, you know, on the Firewise part, which is unfortunate,
It's
but
unfortunate, but
it is
but
what
it
it
will get
is.
there.
So, you know, I think at this point, if we can just become part of your Firewise council, you know, I think we have something to offer, number one. And it would be helpful for all of us, you know, to get information out to our little piece of the community.
Janet, could I ask for another?
John, please.
Count? How many people live
About 10, I think.
in the south side area?
How many people live?
More hands. Fire.
Of the folks in the audience, how many are here from Somerset?
Oh, how many people you do?
Well, from the square.
From
From the triangle. You know, the Janet
I
triangle.
think I
But
got
we
one.
had other people last month.
No, it was Peggy and question.
I have a comment and I'm gonna preface that.
Can you stand up so that the microphone can get you?
I have a comment and I'm gonna preface that comment with, please don't take offense to what I'm gonna say. But I am gonna say it. And that is. Every one of those fire safe councils. Are absolutely wonderful. And they have a small group of people that carry those councils. And the entire community assumes that they're doing fine. In reality, they're working really hard and they're really overworked. Because what happens is in the beginning, everyone came because they wanted it to be there. And then when it was, okay, it's up and running, well, let's go back to watching our TV program. I'm just gonna say it. So one of my concerns always is when I hear people say, oh, Grizzly wouldn't take us and Sam would take us. You know what? They're maxed out. They're simply maxed out. And when I hear the response that people give, it's kind of like, that's because they're greedy. It's not greedy. They're holding a platter that is way too big. So here's my question to everyone that's sitting here going, please absorb us. Are you going to actually help hold the platter up? Because if you're not, you're just taxing these people.
I believe that I can generate enough enthusiasm with people to help to assist this community. I understand that you are not getting the number of hours that you need. I can get you numbers of hours, for sure.
So I'm gonna
There's
counter
things-
that for a second. Are
Oh, wait.
you the only one that's gonna hold hot or?
No, wait a minute, let her finish talking, Shyla.
You hundreds you left.
Yeah,
That's why.
I keep track of my hours now, and I give them to Sandridge, because that's the only council I go to.
Right.
But I'll probably have 50 hours this year alone. I've had 2 major projects, so yeah.
Alright, hey,
One meeting.
wherever, let's, come back over here.
So being the devil's advocate.
That's right.
You were working,
Oh, Shyla, I'm Shyla, cause she says it like it is.
Right.
And then we,
No, I get it. I get it.
so,
Totally get it.
and that was the question that we asked, how involved is your
Yeah.
community? How involved will your community, we have a commitment. Got my eye? So, but that was our question of you, and you have shown by bringing folks that there is an interest in somebody taking you, and so that you're not in no man's land anymore.
And I have talked to other people that aren't here that are also interested, that couldn't be at the meeting, but I do think that we could be valuable to you.
So one of the big things with the grant that I'm managing is community outreach. You know, we started back in March of last year, about a year ago. Going out to we went to the Pioneer Valley, Pioneer Fire, Fighters Hall. And got pretty good response there, but you know, and I support Home Ranch and Outingdale where I can. And we're at our meeting today with Oak Hill and Diamond Springs teams. You know, they're also, you know, Oak Hill in particular, you know, it's a few people doing a lot of work. It gets tiring. So part of it is, you know, and then a fire happens around here. What was that one, the one up on the hill? Roundtree. There are about 100 people here the next week. You know, you can bet if something happens around Outingdale, there'll be another couple hundred people after. It's kind of the nature of the beast, but it does take a lot of time. I'm on 2 public boards, you know, spend probably 8 to 10 hours a month of my time in meetings, and then other times doing homework and so forth. It is a commitment on top of whatever else you're doing,
At least for
but
the 2 hours that we have here,
yeah,
right?
but it's altruistically, it's a very rewarding thing to do. One of the reasons why I got into insurance. I mean, I'm helping people that are literally at life-changing moments.
Maren.
Well, I believe in community. You know, I've done some things with me. I was on the school board for 9 years. I got the pickleball court here at the park. There are some things that I've done live, and I seem to manage to get people to play pickleball. Not very many people ever came to the board meeting. However, I showed up every time. So I mean, yes, I am willing to participate. So I can only speak for myself.
The question of
Okay, I'm gonna,
where is going was, do we? Okay.
I've been trying to get to Mary, he's had her.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I appreciated Charlotte's question because it was something that I have been thinking of because I've been on this council for a long time and watched it go up and down in terms of participation. And I also appreciated the answers from the people from this community. So that being said, I would like to move that we accept the change request.
We have a
And
motion.
include the Somerset.
We have a motion on the table.
I second it.
Jane seconds it. Any other comments?
I third it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you look at Sandy and tell me she's.
Yeah, sorry. Manny's got thumbs up.
Sandy.
She's really a thumbnail right now.
What's your name?
Okay,
Jody West.
please welcome to the Ockham Fair Play Fire Safe Council. The signs, John.
Or
Well, if I close property, it's Somerset.
Saluting, Randy.
Ken,
Well, I just want to second the comments. We asked a lot of questions and the folks, you all came forward and answered them brilliantly. So thank you. Plus, I just realized while I've been sitting here all night, I've got some friends in the audience and
We have hours and hours of cleaning our property. And our
Likewise.
owners just brought in the major clearing within the last month, so we'll get those forms and we'll get those hours.
perfect. So, 2 orders of business. Joe, did you want to say something?
Oh, well, just a thought about the forms, because we're not part of the Firewise, those forms won't apply to us until 2026, am I correct?
Correct.
So 2076, we will really start.
But
I'll have plenty
benefit
to do for
them.
that.
That would benefit them.
Yeah.
I don't think it benefits you
it's
yet.
starting next
It
year.
doesn't- It will,
No,
it will.
Well, if you're part of the council.
But they're not part of our.
Not part of Firewise.
Not far away.
That's
So-
So 2 orders of business. The first is I nominate Peggy Cathy to be on the council.
Second.
Second that.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
See, that's how things work around here. Somebody doesn't hear it, and everybody else steps back, and they're standing ahead of the line, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
The second order of business is I will work with Richie Galvin to adjust our fire safe council boundary and get that back out to you and get it up on our website.
Ah,
And then if I can just maybe contact you as to like, how I go about maybe getting more, email addresses and just kind of that kind of thing.
Yep.
I'll reach out to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, this has been a very productive evening. All right, so moving on to future council presentations, and this will just be a short preface. There will be more information coming out later, and I will be contacting our sister fire safe councils to let them know that they are encouraged to participate and join us. But in April, we have contacted, actually Ken has contacted Brian Mullins, who is from the El Dorado County Department of Transportation, and he is willing to come and give us a presentation on work that the county is doing on our South County roads.
hey,
And
Is
so
that- What about the bathrooms?
no, Brian Mullins is the Deputy Director of Transportation, and so he's responsible for all the road maintenance in the county. The county's initiated work on the E16 project through the Senate Bill 1 funding. So we're starting to see some of the vegetation clearance associated with that. So chatted with Brian the other day, and he's willing to come to our April meeting to talk about the road improvement projects that are slated for South County, so anywhere in the county that we want to talk about at that meeting. And we want to encourage as many folks to participate as we can, because it's a great opportunity to have them do this.
So so for our sister councils, we got him here as doing a presentation. We should only have to have him out here once. Let's get everybody together. So make that happen. And so I'll reach out to Shyla, let them know,
So we have our next meeting this Saturday.
okay?
9 a.m.
Announce that,
Yes.
Yes.
and then you follow up. with
Yes.
The chair.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Yep. In May, super excited to have Chief Dave Witt from Pioneer Fire, Chief Dave Wood, there's too many days and too many W's, from CAL FIRE, who will talk about fire season update, staffing, what's going on in that fire realm. And Chief Dave Witt wants to give an update or a presentation on being aware of weather, fire weather, and being cognizant of what's going on around us meteorologically. And Deputy Sheriff Mark Kersmarky, assuming he's back from his paternity leave, he's committed to me, he's gonna be there. Will provide information on and a demonstration, I think, on the perimeter that we talked about this evening, and what the sheriff's office is doing in terms of fire season preparedness as well. So I'm very excited about that. We will also reach out to our sister councils, because again, we should only have them have to do that once. And to get everybody to join us at our May meeting, which is always the third Wednesday of the month. June will be a regular business meeting. We will have election results that should be coming in June. So we will be introducing our new slate of board members. And catching up on our business meetings, business stuff that we haven't handled in those prior two meetings. Yes, ma'am.
Can these people join our board now? Anybody? Yeah.
Yes, we just added. But they can run for a board position. They're on the council. If they want to run for an election, or be considered for election, and they should connect up with John Hess, who's handling our election.
She's.
And then
We need to have at least 3 candidates for every position, so we split the vote.
The perk of that is if you join the board, you're never gonna get bumped off.
Are you saying lifetime employment?
Ned, I would be very good.
I have a question about the presentations. When you have a presentation like this, is it here for this council? Or do you, all the councils get together, like all these South County councils get together
For these two, I'm inviting our South County partners. So Sandridge and Omo Ranch, and I'll put it out to Grizzly as well.
and they're here?
It will be here, and it will be also streamed.
Everything's recorded.
We hold hybrid meetings. All of our meetings are hybrid, so if people can't be here, they can log into our Zoom.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. I have a lot of wildland fire experience in Forest Service. And I just, you guys need big book of volunteer for like the inspection and stuff, I would imagine.
Yep.
That's something I would be.
Wonderful. So I think Hugh's class is already full. So next year, when he does his training for defensible space and evaluators, we would like you to remind us of that so we can get you in that class.
All right, thank you very much. My name's Daniel Heinrich, and my brother's on Slug Boat at Rocky Bar Road.
Perfect.
I can probably get 2 neighbors too there, the one below me, the one above me, because the fire is with fire road behind their homes, and I pointed out to South Fire, but he's going down the way. That they had strengthly going to outlook with the burn well, so.
Well, make sure we have your email, because I'm gonna give Janet the maps as of today from RCD, and check the map for Omo. I know Slug Gulch is a huge piece of that, and we'll see if the property is identified.
I mean, it'd be great, we'll just put the winery property next to it, it's right there at Silent Pass. It's kind of an Oakstone right down the street, so we're kind of tied in all that. Big pieces of winery.
Yep, that's good.
So we're down to getting the end of our time for this evening, down to our public comment. Any other public comment for this evening? I know that we've had you all in your seats for a long, long time.
No, good, all right, thank you.
Council, any council comments? Mary?
Yeah, I wanted to, we've been doing some emailing back and forth a little bit about Facebook. And I believe Jean brought up the question, does council wish to change our Facebook group from private to public?
Comments?
I'm all about going
I-
public, but I think it's difficult to do.
I think that we talked about this a couple of years ago and we actually have to create a new
So,
one, but
so what we'd have to do is create it, we'd have to delete the group we have now and create a new group. Which
But-
is, I just did that the other day, it's not that hard.
I am all for it and have been for years.
Yeah, I support it.
Okay,
Yep.
Mary, will you and Jane please work together to create a public facing Facebook?
Sure.
Awesome.
And then dissolve the other one. That may not be as easy.
No, it's easy. I just,
Well, and somehow invite everybody
Yeah,
to them
somehow let those people know that.
and get them
Yes.
into our.
not that hard.
Shyla?
I just, this is my final.
No.
Just wanna thank Westlow for the grant that you.
100%.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for,
We can support you.
thank you for considering us. Um. Mike, anything else?
No, I joked enough tonight, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad to have all of you. Be safe driving home and see you all next month.
Council members see me.